Let's get these white Great Northern beans in the pan, the pot. Water to cover, bring to a simmer, turn off the stove, and let these sit for 1 hour. And of course, wash and check them. Let these set for about 1 hour. They came to a simmer and they just need to sit covered. Hi, Tinker. Are you going to hang out today with Mama while I make some nice beans? And you have a chicken breast I made for you, a sweet potato. Good girl, Tinker. You're such a lady. Such a good girl. Oh, that's a good girl. Okay, so what we're going to put in our beans is kind of different, but it's going to be like a white bean soup with the leftover ham. And I will get the carrots peeled, washed thoroughly, and then definitely get some of these strings off of the celery. It's just something that once you start doing it, you'll just love these strings off. So you don't have a stringy soup. Okay, so for the most part, I get as much off as I can. We're going to get everything chopped up. Quick tip, and it seems to work better. Since I had my peeler, I thought, hey, why not try that on the celery? And I don't want to lose too much of the celery, but man, it really works good. Just to get that really thin top layer of the strings off. And then we're going to get everything washed. And for some reason, celery is so dirty coming from the store, but you know, that's how that goes. Dirt won't hurt anyone, but we just want to make sure everything is rinsed thoroughly and chopped. We got a little white onion. Get that prepped and chopped too. Rinse your beans really good. Get them drained, get them rinsed, get them checked. Look through for little pieces of skin and get these out and throw them away. And then let's get to sauteing our veggies. Okay, we have our 2 tablespoons of butter melted. Let's get in these veggies. I did the 3 stalks of celery, 3 to 4 small carrots, diced pretty small, and 1 yellow onion, again, diced pretty small. And let's just get this in here and sauteing. And then we're going to start adding in some really nice seasoning. So I'm going to do 1 round of seasonings on the vegetables, and then we're going to dice up my leftover ham and get that in once these start to get a little bit translucent. So I'm going to start with a little bit of Lowry's seasoned salt, because why not? Flavor, flavor, flavor. We're going to go in with some onion powder, which is totally different than just onion. So if you think, why would you put onion powder in after your onion? It's just a totally different elevating way of seasoning. So fresh onion, fresh garlic, garlic, and going in with the blend. Salt, pepper, and garlic, super good. You can never go wrong with this one. This is the favorite Kinder's. I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Montreal steak. It has kind of the same chunky flavors as the Kinder. So just a little bit. Again, garlic powder, and we are going to use garlic, fresh garlic in this too. But you don't want to put your fresh garlic in too soon. A little bit of the original dash. And this has like celery, salt-free, red pepper dried, nice flavoring. A little bit of cumin, not a lot. but a little bit. We will use up the rest of our smoked paprika and red pepper, but not until it starts cooking with the beans in it. And then I think I'll put a little bit right now of the Chipotle roasted garlic by McCormick, which is excellent. And then I'm going to put the rest of that when we have the beans in and get it to a simmer. I'm going to put about half a teaspoon of white pepper. I'm just eyeing it. That was probably a little bit more, but we love pepper, so no problem. Okay. Let's get this combined. Get these flavors introduced to each other. And get this yumminess bursting in this ugly pot, which I have scrubbed so many times to help you from having to look at it, but you can't go wrong with a pot like this. I'll pull you a little bit closer. So I'm going to chop up some ham and then turn this up just a little bit, and we'll be right back. Okay, so I have a little bit of this left over from Thanksgiving meals. Checking the date, and it's been refrigerated, so June 2027. We are good. And I have a really nice way of saving a lot of money on buying those cartons, but they come in handy, so no matter what you have, bouillon, if you have a carton of the broth, fine. Use it up, check what you have, and then if you're making a lot of dishes, you seem to always have some type of broth in a can, broth in a carton, chicken bouillon, and that type thing. Okay, so let's get some of this cubed up ham put in here. Get these flavors, because we're doing layers of flavor. Layers of flavor. So I'm going to keep cutting up this ham. I have a little bit of moisture in there with that chicken broth, so I'm not frying the vegetables. I'm actually sauteing everything. That got a little dry. Put a little bit of broth in there, in the ham, and now we're going to get all of this to integrate. Okay, get the rest of this ham in there, and that equals to about 2 cups of chopped ham. And I did go through it and check. I had a little bit of gristle on part of it, and I didn't want that in the soup, so I did clean it up as I chopped, and I checked everything. Okay, so we want this to marry and everyone to come together. So let's get this turned up a little bit and get this sauteing, and then we're going to put our beans in and more water and broth. To really infuse the flavor, I decided to cover this up before I go on to the next step. Put this on for 10 minutes and let this come together and infuse with flavor. Okay, now that that has all come together, that's looking beautiful. Give it a stir. Your ham in that 10 minutes, because it's like pre-cooked, is really letting out a ton of flavor. It was lightly pre-cooked at purchase time, but it still has all this benefits of the juice that comes out and the deliciousness. So we're going to put in a 1 can of 8-ounce tomato sauce. And with that being said, there's so many ways to make beans. You can make it this way, one way, another way. Let's fill this can up with water, get that all out. Pour in the rest of the water. I have this bottle of water. I'm going to put in the rest of this chicken broth. So we used about, it comes out to be 32 ounces to the top. So altogether, we're going with about 4 cups of liquid. Half of this, the tomato sauce, 1 can of water, and we'll watch over it when our beans are simmering. So you want it to equal to about 4 cups. We're going to put in a teaspoon of the Better Than bouillon. Make sure it's a full teaspoon. You want that flavor in there. About like that. Stir that in. So that comes together. And now we're going to add back in our beans. And these are, remember, already checked, thoroughly washed. Use your favorite beans, but this is just a ham and white bean. It'll just be delicious. Pair it with some homemade cornbread, garlic bread, tortillas, corn tortillas, whatever you and your family like. Okay, now we're going to put in a little bit more of that smoked paprika. So all together, this would equal about a tablespoon. We used up the rest. We had used some earlier. Really good in there. Just a little bit of crushed red pepper. Everything's about flavor, and it's also about what you like. Go ahead and omit anything that you don't care for. A little bit of the chipotle roasted garlic. We put some in earlier. We're putting in a little bit now. And a little bit more ground cumin. Not too much. Just a little bit for that flavor. We're going to let this come together. Bring it to a simmer. And don't boil because it'll break the skin off your beans. So the flavor in this will be really good, and we will still need to put in 2 fresh garlic cloves, 1 chopped up. So I think I'll do 3 in all. You do what you think is best. Check for these little floaters. This is just skin. I don't know, that's a weird one. Sometimes I check through and take weird looking ones out. So let's go ahead and put this on 1 hour. And we're just going to keep it simmering, and then we're going to come back in and check for flavors. And before we let this simmer, I just wanted to remind you that I did not add any salt because I don't know how salty it's going to be, and there's a lot of salt in chicken broth, and the Better Than bouillon has some salt in it. So right now, we're not really sure about our seasonings, but we'll check that once it comes up in an hour. I must have 6 cents, as they say. I always come in right before the timer goes off. Ooh, 12 noon, and we've got dinner almost done. The smoked paprika, of course, makes it this reddish color. I was thinking before I serve it, I might chop up some fresh tomato and put it in here. Yum, yum. I know some people probably think, what an off-the-wall way to make those beans with carrots, onion, and celery. But it's so delicious. Cooking with my heart. I don't really follow too many recipes. Let's give it a little taste. Just go with the juice. Got a little hot kick to it. When it's totally done, I'm going to take out, and mash up some of these beans and return them. And really, this soup is done. Just let it kind of set, get these beans soft. Let's see if it's soft yet. No. A little bit longer, and these beauties will be done. I would say altogether about 2 hours. Just make sure your beans are nice and soft. Check for flavoring. And definitely do not need any salt because a lot of the seasoning that I use has salt. We're good. These will be served with flour tortillas and corn tortillas. Enjoy!